Hello, my name is Ben.
And I'm Nate.
And I'm Joe. And this is Trivial Trivia.
Now, today's episode is on celebrities and
Crushes.
serial killers. Now, that being said, before we actually get into the episode, before I describe any more of what the episode will entail, this one does include heavier themes, so I would suggest parents listen to this before you tell your children, because we talk about a bunch of serial killers, and it can be violent. Yes. Also, the celebrities are not the serial killers. They either knew or were in close proximity to the serial killers at some point, either during their life or during the crimes.
Do we know any celebrities that are serial killers?
I'm sure there are, but
You didn't do
none
your
that come to mind.
research.
Well, I mean, I didn't look into that part of it,
guys.
but there are people like
Why did you do that?
one of these people that I'm going to mention. He was a what do you call it? An
Male
extra.
stripper.
He's an extra. So he acted in movies, but he wasn't a celebrity.
Okay,
And
makes
he was a
sense.
serial killer. But I'll get into that later on. Now, for the first celebrity
First beef.
we have, it is Ashton Kutcher, the hit star from the That 70s show.
Oh, yeah.
And he is a serial killer?
No, he's the first celebrity, and then we'll talk about the serial killer that he came in contact. So the serial killer that he came in contact was Michael the Hollywood Ripper Gargiulo. Now,
Interesting.
this man, he
Never heard of him.
originally started out in Chicago and committed his first...
Chicago's a nice little city.
Is it?
It's a safe. It's a
Yeah,
pretty
Chicago.
safe area.
I like the O Block. That's
The
my
O
favorite
Block?
place.
Have
It's
you
my
ever
favorite.
been to
It's my
Chicago?
favorite. I have a lot of cousins that live there.
Oh, me too.
So he committed his first murder in 1993 by stabbing Trisha, somebody,
Okay.
18 years old,
She
To
was
death.
a hitchhiker.
and 5 years later he feared the police were after him, so he fled to Hollywood, where he was a wannabe actor. He tried things, didn't really work, so his actual job was as an air conditioning for a repairman for HVAC and a Hollywood nightclub bouncer. And he also continued to kill
he was
some
getting in the
people.
business.
He killed one person who don't know who she was, and then he killed another person, 22-year-old Ashley Ellerin, and he stabbed her 47 times, nearly severing her head.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and
It's pretty
the
graphic.
then he attempted to murder someone else, but then she escaped, which then led to his trial. And on the trial, the people figured out that Ashley was the date of Ashton Kutcher, and he was there shortly after she was killed. So he, on the night
Ooh.
in question, and then on the night she was murdered, what day was it?
He was a suspect.
Okay, it doesn't say what day she was murdered on my notes, but basically Ashton Kutcher had a date with her, and he calls her at 8:24, saying that he'd be picking her up at 10 o'clock.
What? No, keep going.
So, and he spoke to her at 8:24. Later at 10, he called again, no answer. And then he called at 10, saying that he was going to be late, but no one answered the phone. Then he arrives at her house at 10:45, knocks on the door, no answers, waits, knocks again, still no answer, and he peers into the window to see if he could see her, and he saw what appeared to be
peeping
spilled
Tom,
red wine.
Peeping Tom.
I don't know what you're
Tom.
saying. But he thought spilled red wine was all over the carpet. Turns out it was her blood, and he had arrived too late, and so he left thinking she was just annoyed at him for showing up late, but then he figures out she was dead. And then his witness is one of the reasons that the charges against the Hollywood Ripper stuck, and then Michael Gargiulo was sentenced to death.
Oh, so
So
being on time saves lives.
Yes.
definitely does.
Yes, Nate.
He was.
Be on
She was
time.
murdered right before that. Wait, she was murdered right before
She
that.
was murdered between 8:20 and 10:45.
And when did he
When he
pick her
arrived.
up?
He arrived at her house at 10:45, but he never picked her up
my
because she was
days.
dead.
Oh, obviously.
Oh, I thought he still.
I hope he had a backup date. Bro
What
needed to get some.
What if he set it up
ribs.
though?
What if he set
What
up
if
for murder?
What if he got catfished and then knew he got catfished?
No,
but
she
instead
was.
then he
She was a
said-
model.
What if he
A
wasn't the
well-known
model he
model.
wanted though?
Yeah. What if he was like, he saw her and he was like, wait, I don't actually want to go on a date with her, but he knows it's gonna be a whole lot of drama, so he made it more simple.
He took care of
So
it the
he
easy
drags it out much longer because she got killed in 2001, and I think the trial was in
way.
2019.
My days, this was not that. Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa, this is new.
So he made
Well,
a
his
mistake.
sentencing was the new with the.
Wait, so the
crimes
Hollywood
of-
Ripper got just a sentence.
I think he died
days.
in the last
Actually,
6,
fun
7
fact:
years.
every
I don't remember when the trial
person,
was.
1 in 5 people, walk past or are in the same area as a serial
I've
killer.
actually heard that. I don't know the validity of that claim, but I would
Pretty true.
not be surprised if
I
in
think
one time if
one
many people made
one.
one. What are you saying?
There's just noise.
Oh, true.
1 in 1,000 people are serial killers.
I don't know about
Wow.
that. Did you
That's
just
true.
make that one up?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. The next celebrity we have is the lead singer from the rock band Blondie, or whatever you would classify that as. But
Wow,
the
I
singer from
know
the band
him.
Blondie, Deborah Harry, in 1970s, she accepted a car ride from a stranger after
Oh.
an event going to a nightclub of sorts. I don't remember if she was performing or just attending, but she accepted a ride from none other than Ted Bundy.
Oh, I know this story actually. I
Yeah,
heard
so
this.
between 1974 and 1978, Ted Bundy killed about 30, mostly college women, across several states, and
he had that W Riz,
Well,
if I
I
may
mean-
say so myself.
he was charming, they say.
Very.
Which is why a lot of people were obsessed with him. Even on his murder trial, people were still obsessed and enamored with this magnanimous man, I believe. I don't know if that
No,
was
if
correct
they
for the
use
situation. but-
Zac Efron to represent him, he must be
Oh,
very beautiful.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's true.
I mean, he wasn't a bad-looking guy, but I don't know. The picture was grainy. It was an old photo.
Well, so was Albert Einstein. Old. Brainy.
Okay.
But he had good brain.
So he would often trick people to get into his Volkswagen Bug, which he had.
Oh my, that's one of those.
Yeah. Well, punch buggies, as people often call them. He fixed the back seat so that he could make more room for his victims. I don't know why. Maybe stowing them after they died. I don't really know. Just that's
Well,
what the
there
article
could-
I read said.
He would definitely have a good excuse for why it was like that.
What is it?
Why else would you have so much room in your back seat?
But on the night he encountered, Harry said this of her encounter. I was trying to get across town to an after-hours club. A little white car pulls up and a guy offers me a ride. So I just continued to try and flag down a cab. But he was very persistent and he asked me where I was going. It was only a couple blocks away and he said, well, I'll give you a ride. It's the classic setup that has... a classic setup that has seen many victims, especially in the 70s, meet their end. So once she got inside Bundy's car, she realized that it wasn't an ordinary car. The handle to get out of the passenger seat was removed, and she saw the modifications in the back seat. So she tried rolling down the window and opening the door from the outside. When he noticed her doing that, he turned a corner really fast, trying to
Get her off
jostle
balance.
her and get her off balance so she wouldn't be able to get out. But in doing so, the door flew open and she rolled out into the street and then escaped.
So she could have died that night.
Yes.
Wait, who was that again? The lady?
Deborah Harry, lead singer of
Harry.
Blondie.
That is...
Wow.
Yeah,
That's absolutely insane.
it is quite crazy.
That was a close call.
It was a close call. And now our next celebrity, Woody Harrelson, the actor from the '80s show Cheers. That was his first performance. I just thought.
Why do you have such old ones? I don't know any of these guys.
You don't know who Woody Harrelson is?
We saw Carnage together.
Oh, wait,
he
Woody?
played Carnage.
In Toy Story.
No, that's Tim Allen. No, that's Tom Hanks.
Oh,
Tim Allen
wait,
plays,
he played Carnage. He's the
he
guy
played
who played
Carnage,
Carnage?
yes.
Okay, move on.
Okay, so Woody Harrelson's father was a paid hitman, and he went around shooting people. He was also a violent thief,
WI.
and he did kill a federal judge and possibly
maybe
JFK.
Maybe the hitman is... Never mind, actually, that's not...
You don't know? Okay. Well, so he claimed during parts of his life that he was one of the people who killed JFK. And if you...
Okay.
This distracted me. So we're going to do an episode later with my dad where he goes into the more greater detail of the conspiracy surrounding the JFK assassination. And we might bring up Charles Harrelson. Nope. But in that, it's the conspiracies say, whether it's true or not, all the people say that it is unlikely that Harvey Oswald, the guy who is claimed to have shot JFK, it's unlikely that he could have actually have killed him because, one, he was behind and the shot came from in front, and he was too far away to make an accurate kill, and Charles Harrelson would know that because his predominant weapon used in his hitman assassinations, he often used a sniper rifle, so he would know what he's talking about.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, so did they actually have a guy arrested for that murder?
Who, JFK?
Yeah.
Yeah, Oswald. And then somebody else shot him, and then that guy went to prison for killing somebody.
Okay.
Even though he was trying to avenge the
Interesting.
president, it's still illegal to kill someone.
What is going on?
Just roll with it, Joe. All right, next person.
I'm rolling in.
Kelsey Grammer, who I forgot to look up. I have heard of Kelsey Grammer, but I don't remember who he is. But I think he's an actor or a talk show host. Somebody.
Oh, it's a guy.
He's a celebrity. That's all I know. Okay, so when Kelsey Grammer, however you want to refer to him, Kelsey or Grammer, I don't know. When he was 20 years old, a killer, a spree killer named Freddie Glynn murdered his 18-year-old sister, Karen.
Oh, my days.
Oh.
Now,
Wait a second.
Yes. What are you looking? Why are you looking at my notes? Why are you looking at my notes,
Okay,
baby?
fine.
Don't look at my notes.
Read your own notes.
In
The 8-year-old part?
18-year-old sister.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. So in 1975, Glenn was working as a...
I got scared.
Okay. Glenn was working as a civilian at an army base, and there he met a man named Michael Corbett, who was a soldier there, and then the two people decided to go around kidnapping and killing people. So they were trying to rob somebody originally,
Very cool
they
business.
ended up killing him, and they made off with 50 cents. And then they're like, hey, let's just go kill some more people. So then they became spree killers. And then Michael...
So they were trying to get like
Michael,
they were trying to get a good kill ratio like Call of Duty basically.
I don't know what their intentions were.
Going and get the extra points.
But
Get a kill streak, bro.
Then 2 weeks...
Calling some K9 dogs.
2 weeks into their spree, they tried to rob a Red Lobster. Things went bad. Karen Grammer was working there, and they failed to steal any money, but then they kidnapped her and then took her to their apartment where they then killed her.
Uh-oh.
And she was stabbed multiple times, including the throat, and she escaped but died because...
So graphic.
I told you this was a graphic episode.
Okay, make
She
sure
escaped barely, but then died before she could get any
parental
help.
Advisory on this
I
one.
said that. That was the first thing I said after welcome to our episode.
I don't remember.
Well, pay attention. And then Glenn was up for parole in two times, and both in 2009 and 2017. And Kelsey Grammer said he did not endorse the parole because though he had let's see, he said he has an actual quote. I forgive you. This is Kelsey Grammer to Freddie Glenn. He says, "I forgive you. However, I cannot give your release my endorsement. To give that a blessing would be betrayal of my sister's life." And he also says, "I take a moment out of every morning." Oh, I got ahead of myself. So yeah, he forgave him, but he didn't want him released into the public. And okay, he also lost his dad. Where did I put that? His father was also murdered by someone else, and then two of his siblings drowned in a scuba diving accident. So he had lost a lot of people during his life that were close to him. And People magazine quoted him as saying this about his strength about his how he finds strength and his belief in God and stuff. And he says this: "I take a moment out of every morning for a moment of gratitude." There's a great Doobie Brothers line that Michael McDonald wrote that goes, "You'll always have a chance to give up, so why do it now?" So basically saying you can have hard times in your life, but don't give up, because you can always give up later. So keep going while you can. Yeah. Cool guy.
McDonald, he was related to McDonald's. The guy who started McDonald's.
I mean, I don't know.
Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, Ronald
McDonald. I feel like skipping some of these people.
Yeah, I feel like you should speak. How do you have so many?
I only have 7. Okay, I'm going to briefly touch on the Beach Boys story and then skip it because it's kind of long. But the Beach Boys drummer, Dennis Wilson, met a man named Charles Manson, who you all know. He started a cult of...
He's a W guy.
The Manson family cult. No. Yes. And it had around 100 people, and they experimented with LSD in the 60s and 70s. They killed people. Yeah. And Manson, the drummer, again, No, not the drummer. Manson believed the Beatles' White Album was a secret message predicting a worldwide race war. And people died. The most interesting thing about this is Charles Manson was trying to be an artist as well as a cult leader. So Dennis Wilson, the drummer for the Beach Boys, actually re-recorded one of his songs. Manson wrote a song called "Cease to Exist." The Beach Boys rewrote the song and released it as their song called "Never Learn Not to Love." And the opening line of "Never Learn Not to Love" is "Something cease to exist." So yeah. And then after some things started coming out about Charles Manson, Dennis Wilson, who was actually boarding some of the cult members, decided to leave his own home so as not to get entangled with their not great ways. And then he got out in time because, to my knowledge, he wasn't criminally charged in any way associated with the Manson family cult. Yes. So, fun stuff. So the guy I mentioned in the beginning, he was a killer and an actor. His name is Clifton Bloomfield. And his crime was he was breaking into homes and he would kill people. Ooh. It doesn't really say much more than that.
He didn't rob at all and get some money.
Well, breaking into houses, he could rob during that. I don't know. Not the important part. But he was also an extra on shows like Breaking Bad with Bryan Cranston.
Bro.
And the movie Felon with Val Kilmer.
Bro was the danger. He was the danger. He was the one who knocks.
He was the one who knocks. Well, he doesn't knock because he breaks down the door. Because he breaks into homes. Well, yeah, I don't know if he broke down the door, but it was a poor attempt at humor. Okay, we're going to skip that one or skip the rest of it. But now, Peter Lorre, the actor, an old black and white actor. What did he do? Okay, so there was these two killers. They were cousins. They were called the Hillside Stranglers, and it's Kenneth A.
Stephen A.
Bianchi and Angelo Bunio.
Those are some dumb names.
So I don't know what their names are. So they approached this woman with the plans to abduct and murder her because they went around killing people. And they often posed as cops, like they would dress up as cops, driving around in a car, and pretend to look people up, like as if they were questioning them or something, and then get them to get into their car, get the people to get into the car, and then they would kill them eventually. But they found out that the person that they had approached, the lady, was... What is her name? Caroline Lore Baker, who was, in fact, the daughter of Peter Lorre. And the reason they did not kill her is because when they figured out that she's the daughter of a famous actress, they didn't want the people being... It would have been a high-profile case. So people would have been seeing it, there would have been more police around it, and they didn't want to be caught. And eventually they were caught, but not during this case. But what is ironic is one of Peter Lorre's biggest movies is called M. It's in 1931, black and white. And in that movie, Peter Lorre plays a serial killer. And these gentlemen, not gentlemen, the Hillside Stranglers, more than likely saw that movie and probably learned things from that movie about how to be serial killers.
Oh, they were taking tips.
Yeah.
He's the reason his daughter got kidnapped.
He's basically...
She didn't get kidnapped. They almost did. But then they let her go.
He influenced it.
But they still kidnapped her.
No, they were questioning her. But they didn't actually kidnap her. They were because
they were on the road too.
Yeah,
He influenced them to take her in the first place though.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. And that is all the information I have for you today on celebrities and serial killers. And now for the Florida Man of the Day. Did he eat it?
Florida Man of today is Masked Florida Man attacks sleeping man outside Valsonia Bank. Don't know how to say that word.
What's the word?
Valsonia.
Oh, I've never seen that word before. I thought that was some bank.
A Deltona man was arrested after stabbing a man who slept outside of a bank.
You said he slapped him?
Stabbed.
Oh, stabbed him. I was only half paying attention. I was thinking about all the Florida mans
he attacked him.
Tried.
It was David Valquez.
Valquez.
54 years old. The victim was a 73-year-old man.
What? And why do you just see a guy sleeping outside and you're like,
oh, looks right for stabbing. Next.
He just woke up to a masked man stabbing him, and that was kind of loud, but I appreciate the notice. No comments.
Yeah, you know what?
Yep.
Man, you guys suck at Forger Man, bro. I had like 3 good ones, bro. I had like 3 good ones. Oh my days.
And for the movie review of the day, Prisoners.
Wow, what a good movie.
This movie.
A movie.
It is a movie. Okay.
It is a movie of all time.
It's a movie created in time.
It is one of the movies of all time.
Okay. This movie mostly centers around a guy named Killer Dover, who is the dad of his daughter Anna, and her friend Joy is also involved in the story, pretty much. Both his daughter and her friend Joy, they get kidnapped, basically abducted, and he obviously wants to know who did it. Detective Loki was put on the case for this, and they found Alex. His son had said that they saw a guy with an RV. They found this guy named Alex in the RV, questioned him. He didn't say he did anything.
He had a 3rd grade reading level.
That he did.
I know he was mentally stunted, but I don't know if did they actually say 3rd grade?
Yeah.
They said an IQ of 12.
I thought they said 10.
I thought it was 10. Yeah. I think
My
it was
brother's 10.
Negative 12 then.
Okay. Well, anyways, they had to release him after questioning because they had nothing they could put on him.
You're home for 48 hours without a charge.
Yep. And the dad, Killer Dover, he saw that and he kidnapped him and wanted to find out where his daughters were.
Very wise choice.
No, that's still illegal. He's committing another crime. He kidnapped someone who he suspected kidnapped.
He did hold the key to where his daughter was. He just never told him. Spoiler alert.
Okay, so basically he tortured him a lot.
Just a little.
No, like a lot. He was
would you guys do it to find your daughter?
Not that. I would not.
Okay, you just let your daughter die somewhere.
I would not kidnap someone.
Yes.
Who's,
okay, move on.
Especially someone who's mentally stunted like that, and then abuse them to that degree.
You gotta do what you
if
gotta
I saw someone, I
do.
might punch him on the street, but I wouldn't kidnap someone and then do that. That is very dark.
Yeah.
It's Wolverine.
Yeah, he is.
It's Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
And so basically, eventually he's able to get him to say a couple sentences which lead him to go to the aunt's house to question her. And
the aunt of Alex, by the way, because he didn't specify it.
Yes.
Actually,
Aunt of Alex.
Kidnapper of Alex.
Well, we're going to get to that.
Just
That's
to spoil the
Kidnapper of Alex as well.
Story.
And basically she had said a couple things which led him to think that she was the one. Yeah. And eventually he comes to the conclusion that it was her who took his daughter Anna and her friend Joy. And he eventually comes back again, and this time to come get his daughters. However, she pulled a gun on him, made him get into her secret little room.
Old lady. Imagine getting beat by an old lady like that.
She did have a gun and drugs.
Yeah.
That she used on
He had a gun with him. It later showed he could have done some, wizardry. Why didn't he just pull out the gun at first? Wasn't smart enough.
Yeah, he should have had it in his hand while he was threatening her.
Should have just walked up with it in the first place.
Well, then she might not have let him in and started screaming. And she already had the gun on her.
Should have just, knowing that his daughter was in there, shot her right away.
Well, then he wouldn't have found his daughter.
Just search the house. She was just laying down in a room.
What if she was... He didn't know if she was buried. Like, he was eventually.
True beans.
He didn't know if she had secret hiding places.
True.
But you never know, though. You never know that she might take advantage of you. Okay. And pull a gun out on you is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
All right. Eventually, Detective Loki, he gets around to... They find Alex, basically. They found him where he was getting tortured. And he's told to let the aunt know of Alex that they found him. But when he goes there, she doesn't answer the door or anything, so he breaks down the door, basically, goes in.
Did he have a reason? Did he have probable cause? Or did he break down the door?
Technically, he didn't have probable cause.
So he broke the law. Well, but that's probably the law. I don't know.
He had to.
Yes. Though, well, she died, so she wouldn't be sentenced. But if she did not die and he broke in without probable cause, he would not be able to
I think he was worried about that.
her.
I think he was worried about that.
Yeah.
He was just coming out of plain worry. It wasn't really like a police...
He was a police officer.
Wasn't really like considering the police aspect. He was just a worried friend.
Yeah.
And then he found her molesting the young child.
No.
So he had to take it.
No.
He had to take care of it.
Okay, so he came to the room and found the aunt injecting Keller Dover's daughter, Anna, with poison, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eventually, she raises her gun to shoot him. She does hit him in the side of the head, but he shoots her right through the head. So, he wins. She died. And
Riz.
No.
He then rushes Anna to the hospital. Luckily, he gets her there in time. She's safe. And when he goes back to the house again, later in the movie, at the end, he hears... I should have mentioned this before, but Keller Dover gave his daughter a whistle in case she was ever in danger.
Yep.
And she had left that in the little hiding room in the floor where he was being...
Held,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he blows it.
Really? I wasn't even laughing, but you laughed, bro.
Shut up. Okay, and...
you're gay.
Detective Loki hears him blowing the whistle, and that's how the movie ends.
Blow my whistle, baby.
It is suggested that they
baby.
found him, of course.
Yeah.
But
Overall, it doesn't show.
Doesn't show it, so maybe he was never found.
Yeah,
we'll never know. It was based on a true story.
I don't think it was.
No.
It's based on
there's
many,
a movie
based on many
to
true
come out.
stories that happen.
True, that is true.
Definitely influenced by real world events that happen every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Sad to say that Nate was kidnapped.
I was. This is not me anymore.
Okay.
Just any
Favorite parts, or are we just gonna move straight to the cast?
What do we rate this movie out of 10?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part. I would probably give it a 6, honestly.
6?
It was too long. It was 2.5 hours. If it was an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, I could have probably gotten behind it, but it was a very slow movie, and Hugh Jackman's character was overly violent.
I don't know.
I don't
That's the
overly.
part I like about it.
Perfectly violent.
No, because
Was,
there's a point
he
of
was
seeking
overly
vengeance,
attractive,
and then
I
just...
think, in that movie. Hugh Jackman was.
I mean, sure, he's a fine-looking guy, but I don't think he's overly attractive
Come
in
out of
that
the
movie.
closet. Come out of the closet, buddy. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
What would you rate the movie then?
I'm gonna say. I was gonna say 5, but since Hugh Jackman was so hot, I'll give it a 6. It was kind of a long movie. Dragged it out too long.
I liked it, especially on the first time watching, and
For sure,
I would
for
have
sure.
to say
True beans.
I'm leaning towards like an 8. I'll give it an 8.
8.
That's
Yes.
over Barbie.
It is over
Would you
Barbie.
rate Barbie?
It was a 7.5.
That's over Hush. Really over Hush.
Wasn't
Interesting.
Hush a 7.2?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely Hush was better, but
You don't know about that?
Bro has
Not
some.
really.
Bad,
You didn't like that?
Bro has some
No.
bad taste. He rates it.
Yeah.
He rates
Even
it. Bro. Wait, what was Tron rated?
A 9.
Oh, that was a 9. Never
Or
mind.
9.5. Was it a 9?
9.
9? Just straight 9? Okay.
Oh.
Alright. So, now quickly to the cast. I have it pulled up.
Just say Hugh Jackman and that's it.
I mean, there were a few names that I know, but just a couple that stand out. Jake
Jake
Gyllenhaal
Gyllenhaal.
as Detective Loki, Hugh Jackman as Keller Dover, and the man who played Alex, Paul Dano, who, if any of you have seen the newer Batman movie called The Batman, he played the Riddler. David, his whole name's not here, Dast Malik something or other. Dast Malikayan?
Malikayan.
Somebody. I've only ever seen him as villains. He was the...
Guy in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, he was the guy who just was annoying, who tried to get rid of him. He was
And-
also Mr. Polka Dot in Suicide Squad, and he was the schizophrenic guy in
Very
The
cool,
Dark
very
Knight
cool
Rises,
beans. Very
and
cool
he
beans.
was...
True beans.
Oh, what's that guy's name? Starts with an M, in MacGyver, the new series, the TV show.
Then we have Dylan Minnette, who plays Hugh Jackman's son. He's also in Goosebumps.
Right.
Oh, that
And
is
that's
true.
it.
And I don't
He's
really
also
recognize
in
any of the other
Reason
That's
people.
Why.
basically it.
Yeah, that's about it. So that
You're
was...
my 14th reason why, Ben.
Thank you. I don't
Talked
understand
about
that.
the cast too long.
But okay. And that was today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Always subscribe, comment, share, like, all that jazz. I do a merchandise store. It's pretty sweet.
Send us some love in our email.
Goodbye, lovelies.